Sutra 19. Narad astu tadarpita khilacharata tadvismarane param vyakulateti. However, Narad feels that devotion consists of offering all activities to the Lord and the feeling of extreme distress by the devotee if he is forgotten. Unlike the previous three aphorisms, here Sage Narad is giving his personal view on devotion, which he feels is the most complete, compared to those stated by others. He is not contradicting the opinions of Vyasadeva, Garg, and Shandilya. Vyasadeva states that worship of the Lord is performed using one's body, with puja. Garg states that hearing the pastimes of the Lord is devotion unto him. And Shandilya states that an aspirant who realizes the Lord in his heart worships him with his mind. In his definition, Sage Narad declares that all three forms of worship performed by the body, speech, and mind, are necessary in devotion. Devotion is the eternal, unbreakable relationship between the Lord and the soul as his eternal servant. Just as a cluster of clouds does not know the powerful influence of the wind, similarly, a person engaged in material consciousness does not know the strength of time which carries him. The person feels he controls everything, when in fact it is time that controls him. For the sake of worldly happiness, the materialist works like a machine, and the Lord destroys whatever he produces in time. For this reason, a person who is not a devotee grieves for his losses. The misguided materialist does not know that his body is impermanent, and the attractions of home, land, and wealth, which have a relationship with the body alone, are also temporary. Out of ignorance, he thinks that everything is permanent, and performs actions for himself and his family, and for society. Lord Krishna guides Arjuna to renounce all actions executed for himself, and instead dedicate all of his actions as yajna, a ritual of offering made to the Lord. In each action one performs, one should always try to take direction from the Lord. Surrendering both desire and attachment, and thereby becoming free from ego conceptions of I-ness or my-ness and any ideas of ownership, one should cheerfully perform all actions for the satisfaction of the Lord. For such souls, Narad is simplifying the definition of devotion. The Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.200, quoting the Pancharatra, mentions, O sage, if one desires devotion, one should perform actions, both worldly and spiritual, as a loving offering to the Lord. Hence, the first point of this aphorism states that all activities are to be directed towards the Lord throughout one's life. The second point raised herein is a feeling of extreme distress if the devotee forgets the Lord. This is the essence of devotion. Devotion is not exclusively happiness or joy. Devotion never gives joy alone. The path will give intense pain at times. The gopis are a great example of this. In devotion, the sorrow felt by the gopis is defined as the burden of pain in the heart due to mental and physical separation from their beloved, Lord Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.19.16, when the gopis saw Krishna returning home, they were immersed in bliss, since for them, a moment without him was like 100 ages. A single moment's separation from Lord Krishna felt like millions of years for the gopis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Sikshastakam, a blink of an eye is like millions of lifetimes for me, and my eyes pour like monsoon clouds. The whole universe is void to me, in estrangement from Krishna. Extreme anguish is another sign of devotion, which is not unnatural. When a devotee practices one-pointed devotion for the Lord, and he is in communion with Him, the devotee feels content. But the moment the devotee forgets the Lord, even for a second, it causes extreme pain in him. The life of a devotee is a mixture of happiness and sadness of the most extraordinary intensity. When one has attained this state of complete loving absorption for the Lord, formal religious practices are no longer required.